Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. As always, we are trying to bring you some really interesting topics that you may hear about in the media, but we're trying to offer some interesting perspectives and have some real conversations. And today we want to talk about the Iran nuclear arms deal, which is all over the news and all over the media. And I have with me today two awesome guests to talk about this. We have with us here in the studio, Justin Mashouf. He is an Iranian-American filmmaker. And we have on Skype Salman Namazikha. He is the Public Relations Director for IMAN Center, which is the Iranian-American Muslim Association in North America. So just to give you guys an idea, because I'm sure not everybody has read the hundreds upon hundreds of pages of the deal, I just want to talk about some of the main points of the deal first, which is basically Iran will sacrifice about 2/3 of its ability to enrich uranium. They're going to export all but 300 kilograms of its entire stockpile of low-enriched uranium. I want to start with someone, you as someone who is obviously very tapped into the Iranian American community, and you're following all the developments. I mean, and you are both Iranian, so you care about your country, but you are also an American, so you don't want any, no death to America stuff here, right?
We do live here, so we wouldn't want our country to be, invaded in any way. The reality of it is, as an Iranian American that has one foot here and one foot in Iran, and we have, we're so close to our country and to our family back home, we do see that there needs to be a cooperation with the West and Iran. And I think the key purpose of this negotiation is to create that bond or that bridge. Iran really wants to become part of the world, and it's been isolated by the sanctions. So to see these negotiations happen and to see the people of Iran seeing hope that they're going to be part, leave this whole isolation that they had, it's very promising for both, I believe, the West and for Iran.
So obviously that's a very positive perspective, and but what do you say? I mean, Justin, I'm sure you as someone living here and listening, you hear a lot of the mistrust.
The relationship between Iran and the U.S. is really a long historical back and forth of trading blows or maybe trading glances. But Iran is a very complicated society. I know Salman would probably agree with me by saying that what meets the eye when you look at the Iranian regime or Iran from the outside is very different from Iran on the inside and the Iranian people. Whenever I'm in Iran, people always try to kind of engage me, and they try to speak English with me, and they'll come up and say, oh, we love America. And not once have I ever gotten into a fight saying like, are you an American? I want to beat you up. I want to take you to prison.
Death to America.
I've never gotten death. I've never gotten a fist in my face screaming death to America.
You guys obviously both look at this as a very positive step, but there are naysayers. How do you try to convince people that that's not the case, that it's not a dangerous situation, and that this actually benefits us very much?
Most of the people in the U.S. that feel that this deal is a bad deal or that it's a dangerous deal really do not know or understand the culture, as Justin said, the people within Iran. They just see, the rhetoric coming out, death to America, which is ironic because we have politicians here always talking about bombing Iran. So it exists on both worlds. Now, Iran is very much like how America is. It's divided. There are people that want to see a bridge, and there are people that don't want to see a bridge. There are a lot of economic factors that are tied on both sides. So to answer your question, talking to people, letting them know what it is, what Iran represents, what the people represent.
I think you make an important point, which is, why is it we're always thinking, look, there are extremists in Iran or wherever, that don't love the West or don't love the U.S. When we don't stop to think about the fact that we have extremists here in the U.S. who don't love all of us just by default, just by being Muslim. At some point, it stops being about how good the deal is and starts to be about people's viewpoints in general.
Yeah, just I think to put it into context, I think the general naysaying atmosphere of the Iran deal is very similar to Islamophobia in America, right? Because if you're a conservative Republican, what your constituents think, what you want your constituents to think about Islam, and is the same thing you want them to think about Iran, right? And currently, the current administration, which is the mortal enemy of the GOP and the mortal enemy of the conservative kind of wing of this nation, is looking at everything that the Obama administration's doing, and they will, basically stop at nothing to shut it down. And it's the perfect storm, right? It's Obama. It's Obama working with a Muslim country. It's Obama working with a Muslim country that has a very dubious history with the U.S. Yes, so it's like a perfect rallying call for people to say, like, this guy is an idiot. He's basically causing the doomsday scenario. To a conservative American who doesn't know much about Iran, this actually sounds like a scary thing, right? So it's our role in, I guess, in the media is to help inform people, give them more of a nuanced picture of what Iran really is.
The majority of people are neither politicians nor do they, hate anybody intrinsically, but it's what you see in the media and it's what you're exposed to. And I think if people see positive portrayals, whether it be through Anthony Bourdain or through filmmakers telling stories and so on, I think it's much easier to understand the more nuanced picture of any country, that it's not black and white and that there are so many people. And I know, for example, that Iran has a very, very high level of literacy and education, true? Yeah. You cannot have people that are that educated and such a large population of people and have everyone there just want to blow up America.
Iran will be a better friend to the West and U.S. than some other Middle Eastern countries that exist. And there's a fear that if Iran and the U.S. do have terms, then Iran can become a center of innovation. And that's a fear that exists within the region. And two of the biggest players in the region don't want this to happen because exactly for that reason. It's not just because Iran's going to build a nuclear bomb.
What kind of takeaway can we give people to find out more and to be more involved and to participate in really doing the right thing for having better relationships? I don't think having enemies can be beneficial on any front.
I think the first recommendation I would say is that, get your passport and go to Iran. It's something that's totally, completely possible. I have many American friends that travel to Iran, have traveled multiple times to Iran. Every time I go to Iran, I always see a lot of German tourists. I saw Japanese tourists in Esfahan taking time-lapse photos of the Nakhsha Jahan, the Jahan Square. So I'd recommend just go and just explore. It's an amazing country.
And talk to real people.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. Talk to real people.
Go on Google. You're going to see a lot of negative things, but you're going to see a lot of positive things. You can visit Iranian tourism websites, Google specific cities, Esfahan, Shiraz. There's a lot of rich culture and heritage that exist online, and Iranians do a good job of promoting that online. Get to know an Iranian person. There's a lot of us in the United States. I'm sure you could find one guy in the university or someone in a restaurant. It's not that hard to find us. We're around.
All right, I want to thank you both again. And once again, just want to remind everybody, please join the conversation. Please give us your thoughts, your opinions, your questions in the comments section and tell us what topics you want us to talk about. And please subscribe. Thank you guys so much.